Hello everyone, it's Dr. Barden here. Today I'm going to go through a Max patch that we will be making in class. This is going to be a resource video for anyone who's either not in class or isn't able to finish with us. You can just refer back to that, make this Max patch, and submit it to Canvas to get the grade. So this is going to be the kind of in-class portion of this, just kind of condensed into a video that is hopefully useful for you. So, with that being said, let me just kind of explain exactly what it is that we are doing. We are creating a Max patch that's going to serve as what I'm calling a basic, random sampler. That's just kind of what I'm calling it. If you've used samplers before, it's going to have some similarities to that, but it's not going to be exactly the same. There's not going to be a repitching element or anything like that. The idea is just to record sounds and play back random sounds that we've recorded. So that's our end goal, and we're just gonna kind of work our way through it and see where we go. Like I said, I have a mini list, like checklist of the important stuff here, but I don't have like a dedicated like blueprint or starting code. So we're just gonna go through it and go from there. So the very first thing we're going to need to do is just make a folder. This can be saved wherever on your computer. This is going to be the folder that holds everything. So I'm just going to right click on my desktop and make a new folder. And I'll call this random samp for right there. And this will be where we save everything to. So I'll put that there. In fact, we could even just open it up, make that a little smaller, and just so we can see how that gets updated down the line. But we're gonna now take our Max patch and save it in that folder. So this is another project I'm working on. So this is on my desktop, and this was the random samp. I'm gonna double click into that. I'm going to call this my random sampler. Save it. There it is in the folder. There's a reason I'm doing this. Let's also just get the mouse highlighter up there to make things fun. So let's just kind of break this down bit by bit. We'll come back to why this needs to be in the same folder, but let us just go in and pick a few things. So we'll start with recording a sound, a basic sound. So we're going to need to get the microphone input, and I'm going to use, I'll use the easy option as well, but you don't need to use the easy DAC and easy ADC. There's just the more boring version. I just like the button functionality. And easy DAC, just so we can actually hear things at the end of it. So I'm just going to scooch those up there. So again, these are the inputs into Max and the outputs from Max. Just quick reminder though, if you need to set in the audio status the various settings to match up with your device. Mine are all good to go, but if you're using just the built-in microphone on your computer, be sure that you set it to built-in microphone here is the option. If you have a specific interface that you're using, select it from there, all that kind of stuff. So I've got a bunch of drivers for a bunch of different things on my computer. Your list is going to be different, but just make sure that it's the actual input that you're expecting. Otherwise, it ain't going to work. So we're going to come in from the microphone, and I'm going to use the object called meter just so we can actually see it. This is just going to be a mono thing. So yeah, we'll just pull it like that, kind of like the sideways ones. We'll set it up like that. I'm only going to use input 1 actually. We'll keep it like that. So now we can actually just visualize and see the volume. You don't need that, but it's always handy. I usually scooch it over to the side a little bit. So we'll go from there. I'm not going to implement any kind of gain control here. We're just going to go straight into SF record. SF record. It's a mono thing, so we don't, we don't need to tell it otherwise to have any other arguments. So let's just stick that right there. We are going to need a toggle in order to control things. I kind of like what I was doing in the video with the TIB instead. So if we send the toggle here and we send a bang to a message that says open, and then we give it a the file name and just tell it where to save it, it will save what we need to do. So I'll say open. How do we want to do this? Open. Oop. And it should be on a Windows DES desktop slash, and then the name of our file and format. I'll come back to that in a little bit, but we'll send that into SF record, and then we'll just pass along that toggle to right here. So that will save it. If I also wanted to just monitor with the number tilde, there we go. I can just monitor how long the recording has been happening for, because it will output the number of samples that have passed, or not samples, milliseconds that have passed since you've started recording there. So stick that there. And then desktop slash, what do I want to call these? All right, so let's see. We'll just call this a very simple 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So what we can do is take this and combine that there. So let's take a counter, and we'll say we'll take this same bang, and we'll go, not counter, let's just visualize this with a number. And no, I should have just hit I, because I just want to see the number. Visualize that with a number, and then if we say, is it append? Yeah, to the end. Append. Actually, you know what? Let's prepend desktop slash prepend open append dot wave. Will this actually work? Because that would be awesome if it would. Okay, let's see how that... I don't think that did exactly what I wanted. Yeah, so I have to get rid of that space in between these. So let's just check. So what prepend and append do is it'll just add on whatever you type after it, either before or after whatever is getting sent. So you can use it for building up messages and adding stuff to it. So let's see, because I just want it to be desktop slash one.wave. I don't want that space between those two. So I'm just going to look real quick. Prepend. Ooh, okay, so I should just actually be able to say this. Prepend. Oh. Open desktop slash You know, when you wish upon a blue, and then it does the thing. Prepend data cause output. Yeah, anything it does the stuff. We can set it at the end messages. I think this is just going to give us the same result though. Yeah, there's still a space there. So if I just say prepend desktop / random sampler in my folder / I'll get that there. If I set that back to 1, we're going to get that and 1. And then let's just make another, if this works how I think it will. Another prepinned. Layer those, and we'll say, and this should actually say append dot wave. Now if I lock this, set it to 2. Okay, so now I've got that. If I line those up, merged output, create another message box. Three. Okay, where are we? No. Okay, desktop. Didn't like that. So let's see. Or do I need to have combine extension? It looks like it's telling us what's okay, so that looks like so the folder doesn't have that. So maybe this instead. Okay, there we are. So I just had to tell it what to expect for these other things there. So it took a little bit of finagling, but now we're just about done with this part. So I'm going to get rid of this excess stuff. And we can just come out of the combine and we'll say prepend open to build the last part of our list. So now we should have a message that says open the file location and the name. If I lock this, change it up to 5. Hey, open. That's what we wanted. So just saying, hey, they don't want that word extension there. Oop, cancel. E4. Okay, there we go. I just had to delete the word extension. So now we just send all of this. This is what's going to get sent. So we get sent that bang. Let me just make sure I think I type in the SYN. No, it's just the letter S. Okay. So this is, yeah, it'll be anything. And then we output a bang here. In order to then command that. Okay. So, to break all of this down, a lot of stuff here. Like I said, this is a little off the cuff, but not that much. This part was the most off the cuff part. So let me just break down what I've done. I'll probably condense a lot of that in the video. We'll see how lazy I'm feeling after the fact. So I've got the inputs and outputs for our sound. Going to be able to listen and see that sound level with this VU meter right there. To start this whole process, we have a toggle that turns things on. Okay, just turns on the start recording button. It will first output a bang right here that will count up and begin counting a number, and we basically are using these 4 objects here in order to turn that into the command to create a file in the right location for our SF record. So I've taken that number 4 and I've added before that the file pathway, so desktop / the random sampler folder / and then after that I've added .wav, the form for it, and I've combined them all right here. And basically just, I haven't used combine a ton. I knew it was there, but I needed that little to jog my memory about it. But basically that just takes all of these things and squishes it into one singular item instead of having the space in between all of them. Because prepend and append will add things and create a list, but there's going to be a space separating each element. That's cool most of the time, but that's not always what we want. So what I've done there's when we've got this one larger item right here, and then we're just adding open before that. So boom, there you go. And then to set that properly, I've got that set up so that with this TBS, we are sending this to the message to set the message first. Then we are triggering the message with the bang, which then goes into SF record and tells it to do its thing. And that all happens before the toggle does. So yeah, that's what we've got happening right there. So that should do all of its stuff. Maybe that might be a little easier to see some of that signal flow happening. Like so, maybe we'll see. This is just kind of off by itself. So that's how we're going to be recording and playing these back. Can I have counter start on a specific value? I can. Counter. The options loop forward would be a 1. And then I think the next one is what the maximum is. So let's just say between 1 and 10. I think that's what I want. Details, arguments. No arguments, counts upward from 0. With 1 argument, loops upwards between 0 and the argument. 2 arguments, loops between them. 3 arguments, the mode, and the loop endpoints. Okay, yeah, so this is how we want that. So with this, we can create up to 10 unique audio files at once. So this is the first part. I'm just going to test it just to see what happens. It's probably a good idea. So if I lock this, turn it on, we can see my sound. Great. Hit toggle. And I'm saying, hello, hello, hello. That started at 10 for some reason. That's okay. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to stop it. And that's there. And it looks like it went to 9 next. Which I'm going to have to figure out the details of. Because now it's going to do 8. And then as I talk and talk, I mean, that's not the end of the world. This will still get us our 5 options, but it's not quite what I wanted. So let's do something about that. Off. Okay, so let's do it this way. Here, so let's make a bit more space. Nothing crazy. This can stay up here. So let's say after that hits the thing, we'll say let's say this. What if I just passed that along here and created a bang, you know, just like normal, and we'll say if $sign inlet 1, whatever comes into inlet 1 is we'll say if that divided by so if you divide it by 2, it's either going to be a half number or a whole number. It's going to be a decimal or not. So I'm just trying to figure out if it's even or not. So if we say if that modulo 0 equals 0, then out 1. No, then I'm overthinking this. If it's equal to 1, then bang. Okay, so what this is going to do is say that, hey, if whatever comes into inlet 1 is equal to the value of 1, then output a bang. Then what'll happen is this will only open up the new file whenever we've turned it on specifically. And it won't do anything when we've turned it off. So that should avoid that skipping issue. It's weird that it's counting down. I thought 1 was counting up, so let me reopen that again. Loop. Yeah, counter 1. With 3 arguments, treats the mode. Okay, so that does need to be 0. 0 right here. Okay. Let's attempt this another time. So, I'm going to click it. So, I've clicked it. We're recording. We've started at 1. That's a great sign. Hello, hello, hello. Test, 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 test. I'm going to turn it off now. It stayed there. Great. I'm going to turn this on again. I've turned it on a second time, and now we're on recording number 2. So, I think we're all good on this part. Let's turn it off. So, okay, the recording portion of this project is done. I'm going to delete these. I'm going to delete these and move on to the next portion of the assignment. That next one being to load in and play back the samples using Buffer and play. So that's what we've got going on next. I'm just going to make a little more space. Let's create our buffer tilde. I'm going to give it a name. PB for playback. Make it nice and simple. So I'll have that there. You don't have to do the waveform, but it's PB1. But it's always nice just to be able to see what's going on so I know it's working. So I'm going to keep this here. And that's just going to live off to the side. But this will now visually indicate what is inside of our buffer. So we've got that there. Now we've got play. Play tilde buffer name PB. Boom. Got that right there. This is what's going to connect into our... This is where I am going to put in the gain controls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 7. There we go. Okay, now we can actually hear whatever gets loaded into PB2. So we have to send in a message that just says start. And we can do that with a bang. All right, so now we just have to load in the sounds here. And we're going to do that with the message. Oop, that's not a message. Message replace $1. All right, so this is going to be the command to replace and record everything that we've got happening in the buffer. We don't know which file we're going to replace. We're going to be picking those randomly using the random objects, but we still have to tell it, hey, we're going to be replacing it with this thing we don't know. So here's the $1 variable, so that way we can sort that out. So let's go about picking that random value. So random is going to be the object we need for this, and let's pick a value. We're going to say between 0 and 11. Or actually, can we just say at range? It can be any two new so let's say between 1 and the object will be an 11, because I think it'll still leave off the last one. So at range 1 to 11. So this right here is a parameter that we've set without having to go in and manually set it with these messages. We just initialize the object with these parameters. So whenever you see it says, I think it's attributes instead of arguments, whenever you're typing it out, those are what you can affect, and you just type in the ampersand, the attribute name, and then the appropriate values after the fact. So look, we're going to output that randomness, and we're going to create a metro object. We're going to need that as well. Boop, boop, boop. Let's see. So random, that's going to output a number. So we just need to have a message here that's going to say desktop / random samp / Alright, and we should be able to then say actually if I just command copy that, I'll just do what we did before. Prepend this to that. Combine the two things together. Let me just see what that actually looks like if I just send this a bang. Okay, /5, and then we will just copy. Actually, just literally copy this to go down there. It's gonna do what we want it to do. No, and I think I put these in the wrong order. There we go. Okay. Yeah, awesome. Okay. So to break down what happened right there, again, I'll probably be cutting out a fair bit of that, maybe. We'll see as we go in the video. We are just telling our buffer what sound file to play, and we're picking that randomly of all of the recorded sound files. So to do that, we're going to, anytime this random object gets a bang, it's going to pick a random number between 2 and 1 less than 10. So between 1 and 10. We're then going to just add on to that the file location and the file format, combine them like we did before, and then just replace, is the command. So we're going to be sending it this message right here. Which is going to load in the new file into the buffer. Right now we're getting errors because that file doesn't exist. Yeah, so that's what that's telling us right there, which is totally fine. So now I want to have it randomly pick the files, which it's done, and do that at a random interval. So this is where our Metro objects are going to come into play, because I don't want to manually click that bang object. I want it to happen automatically. So for our first Metro, we're going to use this to, if we just, actually, no, the whole idea was that you play a sound, you play a file, and then it's, or playing a file triggers it to play. So yeah, so this is the play button. I'm getting confused. This is the play button. So we just need to have this randomly occur. So let's just say, boom, 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 Metro, I'm just going to arbitrarily say Metro 500 to start with. Why not? We'll say a new random, and we'll say up to 1,000. It's 1 second at most. Actually, let's say 5 seconds, so that way you can record slightly longer things. So every then it's going to output a random value that will then feed back into the Metro to change how quickly it outputs a bang, which we then connect here. And all we have to do is toggle on that Metro in order to have it work. And I didn't mean to do that. But if we hover over, or if we make a message here, well, we should be able to now see this change randomly. This number right there. So yeah, 1. And this could take anywhere up to 5 seconds. 5. 7, and there could be repeats. If it's a little helpful, we could add in a bang here just to see it. So that'll indicate whenever a change happens, right there. All right, so now the only thing that is left to do is to record some sounds. So that's what we're gonna do, is record some sounds. So let's do exactly that. I'm gonna record just some real simple stuff just to get enough files going in there, and then I'll show you how this should all be working together, and we'll make a pretty presentation mode. So let me just off camera just record a few things real fast, and I will be right back. All right, hopefully that took no time at all through the magic of video editing, but I have just gone through and recorded 10 short little blurbs. They're nothing fancy. It's usually just me making a noise, saying a random sentence. I really didn't put that much thought into it. But I have 10 audio files right here that, again, are just named 1 through 10.wave. You'll see as I hover over them, it's 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 1 second. I tried to make them all really short just to show this off. But those are all just saved in the file here. If I turn on this toggle, we should see, it loaded files. And now it's just randomly cycling through them as we go. So if I turn this volume up a little bit and just hit start, recording. Hey, I'm this video. While we're here. So you'll see that recording number 8. I did 8 and 9 about the same thing. That it's playing through, but it's changing every time I click the same button. And if it changes mid playthrough, it's going to pick up in the new recording where it left off on the old one. There was one where it started going off and then it transitioned to one saying, it's like, man, after all of this video, I'm going to need to go get a drink or something. Jokes aside, it'll pick up because it's reading the same buffer. It's just the contents of the buffer are changing. The playback location of the play object has not. It would be like if you've ever worked with audio tape before, or like a cassette tape, 8-track, that kind of stuff, reel to reel. If you had a reel of tape and you went in and spliced one into the other, basically it's just the contents of what you're reading has changed, but the amount of time that has elapsed on the reel has not. It's kind of a way I could break that down and think about it, but hopefully that's making sense to everyone. So this is kind of our in-class. This may be a 2-day thing. We'll see. Depends on how long it takes me to explain SF Record in class. But this will be a little assignment that we're going to be doing that'll hopefully just break down the idea of recording stuff, loading it into a buffer, playing it back, and then getting into some slightly more nitty-gritty messagey things. So I've got that there. I'm going to wrap this video up just by making it look pretty. So if we unlock it and we're just going to Control or Command on Mac, click, Shift click, sorry, the things. I want those two, I want this one, that one, this, I forgot that's what that did. No, go away, this, and I want you. I have to re-click my things. Let's go with just those for now. And we will add to presentation. And let's just do a quick little load mess 1. We'll just have this default to being on all the time. Ooh, random sampler. I don't know why it should just be save. I don't know why it's opening up the window. I'd already saved random sampler. That's weird. But we will hop into... Where did you go? Random samp. That was weird. I don't remember saving as a new copy, but either way, we're here. So I've gone through and set all of these to be in presentation mode. So if we go into presentation mode, you can see all of them there. So basically, I'm just going to organize some of this stuff just a little bit here. Yeah. Order, bring to front. Make those the same size. I'm just trying to making this vaguely, kind of usable. If I make this as big, going this way. Scooch you out there. Hey, look, there's a basic user interface of some kind. So, again, this may or may not be the best thing in the world. Did I have the right toggle? I did. It's just still... Oh, I've been recording for a while for some reason. All right. Well, now that we're no longer recording something, that's kind of funny. Let me just break down this. So, again, we've got the ADC instead of the DAC. It just goes from analog to digital, so that's the microphone instead of the speaker. In terms of the interface, it does the same thing where I can just start and stop that by clicking on it. That's right there. We can see the incoming audio level with the meter object, and then we can start and stop recording with this toggle. Here's the output volume, currently loaded sound, and the button that we use to play a sound. These are all the things that we interact with in the patch. Everything else, as it's designed, isn't for that. This is helpful for just seeing that a new sound has been loaded, but you can also just see that changes. We don't need to see the message here. This is just basically just for making sure that we, as the creator, saw what was going on. So we could honestly just delete these objects because we don't need them. And then if I just line this up a little bit, it gets a little more tidy. And I mean, there it is, really. If we wanted to, we could go in and add some sounds. So currently loaded sample. The button that actually does something. Oh, I always do that. Volume.